Brad, if you're looking for your support in the future, and please remember my name when you see it, Dana Harris. Thank you. Dana Harris. You got it? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to make a comment for?
Linda Baker, Ashton Court. Okay. Any of it? What kind of deals on Ms. Arms? Somebody said a little lower on the reserve. Just give it a thought.
The red light on.
Linda Baker. Thank you. Linda Baker, Ashton Court. I have three things that are not related to each other. They're all on the agenda, so I'll take it in the order in which they're here. Under item 7C5, communication with the committee to promote Superior Township. I just want to advise that I am here representing the city to promote Superior Township. To get to that, I have usually questions or anything. This is what the communication looks like. It's very rigid. So there might not be anything there, and whether you know if you do have any questions, I'm here to available to answer them. The next thing is item number 10P. Motion to discontinue consideration of selling or donating conservation easement on the land referred to as the rock property. And I saw this on the agenda, and I was looking for the rock property. But a motion to discontinue consideration of something, with no, and then I looked in the packet to see what the background information was, there was nothing. The only thing in the packet, I did search through the packet, the only thing that was in the packet that referred to this at all was some minutes from a Parks Commission meeting, which is not even significant. But the citizens at large are not gonna tie all that together. And it's not a motion to do something, it's like a forbidding to talk about something. And we're having difficulties on this board with openness and transparency and those kinds of things. And this kind of an item, a motion to discontinue consideration of doing something. Are you here to consider things, not just stop considering it? I'm glad that you did not change the agenda, because I wanted to recommend eliminating that item from the agenda. And if there is an issue related to this that you wanted to discuss, have a more straightforward and understandable, and something that the public can follow discussion on it. And the third thing is right near the end. Item 10E, the township holiday schedule. I did shuffle my papers. I remember what it was though. It had the holiday period in 2024, like next December. It had the way it stated December 23rd through January. Anyway, it made it sound like township hall was going to be closed for that entire week. But yet the words made it sound like you wanted to have 2 groups of holidays with some available days in between. And if that is what it is, then I suggest that you reword it. If it is, if you're wanting to take the whole week off, then I want to register my disagreement with that. Because if you close township hall for the entire week, people who work during the day, you guys close at 4 o'clock. I mean, people who work during the day, that a week when they can come into township hall and do business when they otherwise might not do it. Those are my opinions.
Thank you, Brenda. Is there anybody else who'd like to comment? Jan.
Good evening. My name is Jan Pierce, and I'm on Ann's Way, Superior Township, and I would like to comment on the motion to discontinue consideration of selling or donating a conservation easement on the land referred to as rock property. My understanding of that was that at the moment working at the county level to create a document to offer us that we would donate the conservation easement on the rock property. And so my understanding is that we would stop that process, take a step back, and then actually have the conversations that have not happened, the conversations with the public, the conversations with the people who live here. And this is really important to all of us, that you hear what we have to say before you start to have conversations with the county. And if those conversations lead to conservation easement, great. What I'm looking for is that we actually have those conversations with the residents before you start the process. That's all I'm asking for, is that we are included, because as you can see, we see more and more people attending the meetings. This is great. People want to be a part of their government, want to participate, and often I feel that they're not. Often I'm finding out after the fact what's going on. So I actually appreciate this, and I would love to be able to just step back, have those conversations, and then decide as a township how to move forward. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to comment?
Good evening, Crystal Light. I'm a resident of Superior Township. I am coming just after Jan did, asking that the resolution be tabled or revised as far as the rock property, as I am on the Land Preservation Committee and it is to be donated to Washington County. However, there was no resolution that was passed or that was brought before the Board of Trustees, so that there was no way for us to move forward, with, the Rock property. It is my hope that, any kind of contacts or information, anything with land, or properties that move forward, that it will be brought before the board and discussed first, before it is brought to a committee, and that it is done in decent and in order. It is my hope that transparency is always brought before the board, before any decisions are made. So it is my hope that you can table that resolution, and make sure that the board and the residents are well aware after the board, is aware of the process and what is going on, what an easement is, how the easement can protect, property. I'm on the land preservation committee, so I'm always for easement. However, it is the process, it's the way that the thing, that this came about. So my ask is that it is brought before the board, and then the residents, are informed, and maybe educating, the residents of Superior Township on what easements are. So that is what I bring for you for today, and it's just asking that, that resolution, be taken.
Is there anybody else who'd like to comment?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
My name is Ramona Carter Hayden Muhammad, and I've been a resident of Superior Township for 35 years. I stand before you today with new concerns regarding the issue I addressed previously, the fraud issue that was listed in the board packet of November 13, 2023 under the controller's report. I'm specifically asking the same questions related to the wire transfer of $8,850 made by the treasurer to an unknown account. In the controller's report, it was stated that the request was sent from an email that was not the email of Clerk Finley. I asked if an automatic notification that alerts when an email is from outside the government offices, or is correspondence now received regularly from the sender. In the packet for tonight's meeting is a copy of an email sent to the deputy supervisor, and at the bottom there is clearly an alert stating you don't often get emails from whoever. So it appears that safeguard is in place. I'd like to know why the address was not confirmed prior to releasing the funds via a wire transfer. Documentation dated September 30, 2023 states that assistance from the former treasurer, Brenda McKinney, was requested by the current treasurer. My question is, because of the timing, was the assistance requested related to the fraud incident? I would still like to see the journal entry that the treasurer requested to be made in the general ledger. And also, was that recommended by the former treasurer? I asked about this payment to Brenda McKinney, the former treasurer, at the last trust meeting as well. My new question is related to the ICS, which is an assured cash sweep account that was brought up at the last trustee meeting, and which I asked questions about at that time. In the packet for tonight is a summary of a meeting held on September 11, 2023, discussing ICS accounts. The summary was provided by the auditor, Kenneth Palmer. The summary seems in direct conflict with the information given by the treasurer previously. The treasurer stated that the interest rates on ICS accounts were not as high as on other investment accounts. The auditor summary gives a rate of 5% for the ICS account he referenced. When I looked at just a couple of the treasurer's investment reports included in today's board packet, the Chase T-bills had a rate of 5.39%, and the 6-month CD had a rate of 4.9%. These were under the Legal Defense Fund investment reports. But what jumped out for me was the utility investment report. It shows funds at Huntington Bank. This is the bank that Mr. Palco referenced as being used by one of his clients for ICS services. Mr. Palco also stated that most banks do not charge any fees for the use of the ICS program, which is the direct opposite of what was stated by the treasurer at the meeting of last month. Being charged fees has also not been my personal experience in utilizing the protection of funds that ICS accounts provide. Mr. Parker also encouraged those in attendance, which included the treasurer, to talk with banks offering ICS accounts. So my ICS questions tonight are, why did the summary of the meeting come from the auditor? Did the treasurer not take notes? If she did, and I missed them in the packet, please tell me where I can find them. Secondly, what banks have we talked to so that who can provide us the service we require to protect our township money? Thank you.
Excuse me, I didn't get your name.
Ramona Parker Hayden Mohammed.
And Ramona, you live on the street?
Are you asking Mrs. Mohammed?
Yeah.
I live on Stanford Road.
Thank you. I want to make sure I have it.
Ramona Parker Hayden Mohammed.
Anybody else want to address the board?
Hello, can you hear me?
Miley and
I'm calling in.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Devereaux, and I just wanted to agree with a few other folks who have spoken this evening on the motion to discontinue consideration of selling or donating a conservation easement on the land referred to as the Rock property. My property, actually 3 of my properties, because I just bought 2 more. Thank you. I love you all. Superior Township is phenomenal. We are making this our lifetime family home. And we now own 20 acres that borders the Rock property. And the thing that concerns me is that the only reason that I knew that this was happening tonight, and perhaps I could have done more of my own due diligence, was that Jack Smiley, I received an email from him letting me know that this was going to be discussed. And given we are right there, I was like, how did this slip by me? And literally all of my neighbors who also border that property. So I think there's a lot of conversation to have on this topic. It's something that a lot of folks in the township care very deeply about. It's important from a conversation or a conservation standpoint, obviously, but it's also important for the character and the type of life that I think a lot of us are trying to create for ourselves, but also for our families. And one of the things that really concerns me, and I'm going to wrap up here, is that we've had some state laws that have been passed recently that if we don't put in place things that allow us to protect these properties for conservation, the state has expanded power to come in and to put specifically wind turbines, battery storage, anything related to green energy on open land if they can get somebody to sell it to them without township or local supervision or local approval. So that's something that really worries me with like the most recent state laws that have been passed, is that township power and local government power has been reduced over the last month. So we'll see, like in terms of what the actual decision ends up being, that's, to be seen. But I think this conversation needs to be paused and move forward with, again, that citizen participation. So thank you all, and thank you, Jack, for notifying us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Jack Smiley, I live in Cherry Hill Road. And personally, I think it would be a tremendous setback if the township would no longer even consider putting a conservation easement on this property. We've worked long and hard to get this land protected, and we owe it to the citizens of this township to make sure it's protected in perpetuity. Just before this meeting, the Parks and Recreation Commission met. We passed a resolution unanimously in favor of going forward with putting the easement on the Rock property. The resolution reads, whereas protection of the Rock property is in keeping with the township's master plan and with the Superior Township's park, recreation, and open space master plan, and whereas placing the conservation easement on the property is essential in order to protect the conservation values of the land in perpetuity for the benefit of Superior Township residents, and whereas land conservation efforts in Superior Township have relied on valuable partnerships with Washington County Parks and Recreation Commission City of Ann Arbor, Southeast Michigan Land Conservancy, and numerous other nonprofit organizations. Whereas Washington County Parks and Recreation Commission has been a particularly strong partner and has contributed over $10 million to land conservation within the township, which far exceeds the amount invested by Superior Charter Township. And whereas the Washington County Parks and Recreation Commission has agreed to hold the conservation easement on the rock property, and will likely assist with both programming and stewardship of the property. Now therefore be it resolved that the Superior Township Parks and Recreation Commission strongly urges the Board of Trustees to move forward without delay with its commitment to protect the rock property in perpetuity by establishing a conservation easement on the property, which is acceptable to the Superior Township Parks and Recreation Commission, to be held by the Washington County Parks and Recreation Commission. Be it further resolved that the Superior Township Parks and Recreation Commission encourages the Board of Trustees to transfer jurisdiction over the rock property to the Superior Township Parks and Recreation Commission, so that we may begin the important task of planning how to best utilize the rock property to meet the recreational and open space needs of the township. And as I mentioned, this was passed unanimously by the Parks and Recreation Commission. I mentioned the partnerships, and I think it's really important to realize how we relied on our partnerships to protect land in this community and to fulfill our master plan goals. Washington County Parks has contributed over $10.4 million to land protection. Ann Arbor through the Greenbelt has contributed over $4.5 million, which has helped protect land and help keep farmers on their farms and help provide local food. Southeast Michigan Land Conservancy has contributed nearly $3.5 million. We've also received landowner donations. So of the over $25 million which has been expended, Superior Township has only had to provide about 10% of those costs. Let's not lose sight of the fact that we need partnerships, and having this conservation easement will be a good thing. Let's see what the details are and we consider it at that time. But we need to move forward and not delay. There's no valid reason to delay this unless you want to self-develop.
Jack, can I get a copy? Can I get your resolution?
It's not finalized yet. It's not certified.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to make this?
Yes, we have a few on Zoom.
Somebody in Zoom?
Yep. So Rachel on Zoom said, can you ask why the audited financials for the past 3 years are not online? I only see 2017 through 2020. And then TC Collins said we need to talk about the education system of the farmers and Black farmers with the rock situation. An easement is not the answer for new Black farmers. The green belt doesn't help Black farmers in Washington.
Anybody else in the audience that would like to make a comment before we get on to regular business? Seeing none, all right, we'll move on. Thank you. Down to approval on the agenda. Taking a motion on the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Okay, so I have one request, resolution M, or resolution 91, the bid from Copalac. I was expecting to get 2 more bids, so like, just take that off when I get the 3 bids in, I would bring it back to the board.
Which one?
Just take them off, not to approve the bid, you don't have 3 bids to share, but we will have 3. And I think that's all I had. So, does anybody else have anything?
Yes, I do. We received 2 letters of complaints against 3 different employees. And I think that we need to address those 2 letters, whether it's in open meeting or in closed session.
Well, somebody needs to make a motion, we're clear on the business.
Sorry. So
Somebody needs to make a motion we're put it on the new business, and we'll have a vote. So you got two, why don't we take them one at a time?
Move that we discuss two letters that the board has received for the two emails about two employees. Support, and I would put it as item B under new business.
Item what?
B.
B. So that one is. Right. All right, so that will be, one letter. So.
There's two different.
You know, but you want to take them one at a time on the, or take them both at the same time? Why don't you just take them one at a time? All right, so let's have a vote. So is there any comment on that or discussion on that? The motion is add B, and discuss a letter from an employee, regarding, I guess, employment conditions. So,
You said that we're doing it in two separate things. You're choosing to do this in both. I would do it. That's
we have a legal opinion.
I was about to say, there's a little issue.
There was a legal opinion.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, open discussion.
Okay.
Is this the one regarding Carol, or another?
Unnamed.
Unnamed?
So my question too is, Fred said, oh, I know, are you back there? Okay, so go for it, Fred. What do you got?
As it relates to.
I asked you several times.
It was a motion on the floor.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor. I think we support the board.
Okay.
Please don't make closed sessions. Statute provides that you can have a closed session to discuss complaints against employees at the request of the employee, not at the request of township board. Consequently, if the matter is brought, unless there is a statement from the employee requesting a closed session, the matter must be dealt with in open session. I think that's the context of the email I had sent earlier.
All right, so, how do you just identify the person, just the letter, that we'll be discussing in open session, so find out. So all in favor of amending the agenda to include item B, say aye. Any opposed? No opposed. All right, do you have another one?
So there was a second letter against, an employee without naming the employee. So that could be similar to B, only this would be B.
Is this the one that came?
No. I didn't even get a chance to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So this is one, this was a very lengthy email that was sent in response to,
Item B. Okay, so we're kind of tied together.
Yes.
Okay, so can we get a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, so as those is B and W, actually, when Lynette is doing the minutes, she can bump everything on a letter, removing him. Okay. So we have an agenda. Well, not yet. All in favor of approving the agenda as, oh, you got another one?
so I'd like to take some things out of the agenda, this is how I do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'd like to, take the supervisor's report out. I'd like to pull out, community center advisory committee report. And I would like to pull out the utilities. Also, the finance report.
The number six.
No, not the monthly financial, but, wait, they did have some on the monthly financial. Okay.
Is it the controller's report or no? Actually, I don't know. I mean,
Just what you said, supervisors, committees, and utilities.
still don't know if it's here.
Okay, so we'll pull those out on the entire agenda as amended now. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
You, demand for 396 first. You need to go in closed session to approve the last minutes. Yeah, approve the agenda first. We have to approve the agenda.
So, do we have a motion and support on the table for the agenda as a whole? No, all right, we need one as, on the agenda as a whole.
I move to, approve the agenda for December 18th with the amendments noted.
Support. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we are gonna go now into closed session. We won't be long. We're going to leave and then come back. So we should be gone maybe 10 minutes at the very least.
You got a roll call to get into closed session. You got it.
All right, can I get a motion? Go into closed session. Move by board. Okay, we should have a roll call.
And the purpose for the closed session is to approve closed
To
session.
approve the amendments, to approve the amendments.
Aniston,
Yes.
Henley, yes, Lewis.
Yes.
Liddy.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Seacox.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes. Okay. Back.
Okay, we're back in session. I can get a motion. All right. We have a roll call vote now.
Yes. Finley, yes. Lewis.
Yes.
Linky. Yes. McGill. Yes. Seacrest.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes. Okay. That takes us now down to supervising report. You have a. It's attached as an agenda item. You'll find it in the, either I guess online and you'll find it.
So one of the things that you started out with was the, number one, sale of township property. This is about Mahmoud Issa.
Right.
Could you expound on that a bit?
Well, I think I said everything. He came in, Mahmoud came in like 2 weeks ago and said, you township, you own that property on Plymouth Road.
Which property did you?
I attached the map to the report. And if you need to, I'll show you there. I don't have a. And we acquired that like 20 years ago from the owner of, actually called Checker Farms at the time, and that was all the split behind there on Brittany. So somehow we ended up with that 1.5 or 2 acres on that, 3. And so Mahmoud came in and said, they would like put a house in. And he sent me the email, which I attached, saying that they offer us $65,000 to buy the property. I think they're very serious about this, and what I suggested was, why don't we get an appraisal on the property, see if we can negotiate the sale. Personally, property is sat there, most people don't even know it's ours. I'm not sure what we would use it for. Been off the tax roll for 20 years, the house is built on it. It'll be back on the tax roll, and I don't know, unless we can figure out how you use the town, put out about making it on some of the bill.
I do like that. You said that it could be the proceeds, the sell that could be used for. And then Stevens Drive and Tanglewood, that continues to be something that we talk about, that's in the report. Do you have any, I know that the Washington County Road Commission is coming in January, and I know that we have results from the Tanglewood neighborhood, and Stevens Drive, but is there, I thought we were gonna have a meeting with, a small meeting with, the Washington County Road Commission covering that.
Definitely, we have a small meeting, but they said that they're coming along with the road commission. Regarding the city and Steve.
And if we could just, the sidewalk program, well, we're beginning again in April, so right now we're
done with construction and we're done with inspection, so now we're invoicing. And that will go on for a few months, and then we can figure out that. And then, yeah, as soon as the weather clears again, we'll continue on with homes that didn't get done with us. We'll inspect and make sure that the people who said they do it themselves. But there will be a continuous program.
number 4, where it says that, Washington County, the Washington County Administrator, is going to provide $40,000 in grant to offset the township library. Is that the cost at Harris Road?
Very township branch of
Right.
line just.
Okay, so I noticed in our 23 budget amendment that we're increasing the Dixie District Library account line by 70,000.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right direction. That was actually the Harris Road widening project. That 70,000. And So that will ultimately get paid by the library.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're gonna pay everything that it costs to build. And, I haven't got a response back from Greg Hill yet, but I think our commissioner here, Crystal, she might be, I think, Crystal went to Greg Hill and asked to get some funding for the library and for this respect to the library.
Yes.
And Greg said, fine on 40 grand, but we haven't got a documentary. I would expect it maybe in June.
Well, we can get that document, we were just waiting on a response, but that, 40 grand is going to be provided to the library and they will, use that as an allocated, as needy, once we allocate it to them, it is for them to.
Well, what I said to Greg, person, so you know, and I'll see you on, was, I'm not sure how they're gonna structure it, but I would prefer, if it's okay, with all the controllers and everything, that we just get the money directly and we spread it in between. So if we got 40,000 from 20, we'll match it to the $80,000 reduction total. But they owe us all the money, we don't owe them anything, okay? So, but we can work.
Well, yeah, let's just.
We'll work that out.
Yeah.
I'll give you a follow up.
Okay.
Have we, talked about the $40,000 match?
No, I don't have anything yet. It'll be a document that comes, I'm assuming from the county, that we'll have to bring to the board. And we'll have to approve that and then also, approve a revised agreement with the library. Because the numbers will change at that point.
The reason I wanted to pull out number 3, Community Center Advisory Committee update, because some really great news happened, and I think that we should talk about that. It shouldn't just be buried in our book. And Lynette, could you just announce what happened at that last, the school board meeting?
At the last school board meeting, it was announced by the board to go forward with the agreement to sell the property and for the superintendent to work with Greg Deal, our county administrator, to execute the agreement.
I just want to give you a shout out for all the work that you've done on that committee and for, we've talked about this for 2 years. And we finally have gotten to this point, so, really great job.
So if I could just make one minor comment on that. It's my understanding now that the negotiations will occur between the county. There's been no offer and acceptance at this point, but they're hoping to achieve that.
That's what she said. Thank you, Rhonda. That's what said that they gave her permission to negotiate with.
And the last thing I wanted to pull out is just the utility department's report. And I saw that the very first line was very exciting for me, and I'm sure for everybody. Where it said that, Stantec Construction has completed the work on the pump station. That has been going on forever. That is great work. Ricky, if you're in the audience, and Mary, kudos to you guys for getting that done. Are you here? So that's just great, and it's great. It's great getting these reports from the departments, just to see what everybody's doing. So, shout out to you guys.
And it looks so nice over there.
Hey, anything else? No. Oh, you want? Okay. So we're done with that world communications. So.
We vote on the consent.
For this. Right.
Alright, so, do we vote on the consent?
No, we don't.
Yeah, I get a motion.
So moved.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Any opposed? Seeing none. So we can move on now to the communications. I don't know if there's anybody who wants to comment on any of those. If you do.
Communication.
Raise your hand.
I would like to ask about, the stuff emails that we've received, that if anybody, she was asking, questions to follow up from the sheriff's department about break-ins and whatnot. I don't know if that she didn't answer.
It was sent over to the lieutenant, and I talked to the lieutenant, and that was 2 weeks ago. And I didn't get an answer from the lieutenant. She was on vacation. I think she's returning tomorrow, but I'll follow up.
Sounded like she
But-
really wants to know.
Yeah, she asked a lot of things that I want to research to answer her,
Ken, I've been reading on Nextdoor, and there's many permits about stuff and break-ins and whatnot in that neighborhood. And I really, we pay extra for the sheriff's department to patrol those, well, at least, the area around, what is it? Harris.
well, we collect that money from the department.
All right, so I would just ask that they patrol around there a little bit more if they could.
And I would just like to make a comment about C4, the memo from Ken Palka, our auditor. The reason that memo was submitted is because the board asked me to submit something from Ken Palka, saying that we had a meeting. So that's why. Just want to clarify that.
So Lynette, I'm not fully used to this new format. Are we gonna do bills with payment? You guys-
Those proponents are the rules of the law, all the way to pay, benefits.
I didn't realize, I did not.
We can,
So I think in the future, we won't put that as a part of the consent agenda. Okay, we're talking about this, okay, you talking about those.
Yeah.
we're gonna honor you.
I thought the idea for bills for payment being in the consent agenda was because questions could be asked in advance of the meeting.
Well, it would have been great. I would have to,
You did ask some questions, that you're doing with comments.
I didn't get the answer. So hold on just a minute. So that is, at 3. That's at 3. And then that's saying,
There in the back,
sorry.
at the back.
Okay.
Tab 3. Yeah.
Great.
You're looking for.
I'm just looking for the. So. What I have. We paid $1,400 to Jason's tree service, and I don't think we have to, we can just talk about it without having to see where it's at. And
What?
Jason's tree service, this was to decorate the Christmas tree at, out here.
I thought that was coming on top. I didn't do it.
It is,
Oh.
but I wanted to bring it up because I don't know for how many years we had, the firemen's folks decorate that tree. Can you explain? I mean, that's a good community service.
Well, my understanding is that, and the chief is here, he can talk about it, the one is here, he can talk about it. That, fire department didn't feel comfortable because they're not really trained. And the chief can talk about it because it kind of caught me a little off guard too, in that Juan had gone out and got some bids, and this was the bid that he selected essentially, which would have a professional company come and do it, which really was a liability, and it really looks prettier this year than ever, So I don't know, if you want to talk to the chief if you want.
I would just like to, well, first of all, fire department do community service. I would be, well, I know, but this would have been part of community service, so that's fine.
In answer to your question, yeah, we do community service. We go around and install smoke detectors. We also do RC inspections and installations as well. The thing with the Christmas lights is every year we struggle with that. We put up $1 million ladder truck, which if we get a call, we have to take it down. It takes us about 5 minutes to retract it, get it back in service. And in discussion, also the union didn't want to do it this year and said that the tree service people can do a better job, which they can, because they have equipment, the boom truck that'll actually go around the tree. Whereas with us, we have to hang somebody off the end of the ladder, and then they're trying to do it with pipe poles to put the strings up on the trees and stuff. So we just decided that it's much easier and safer for the tree service people, which they do for service.
And the reason I'm asking is because we were there for years and years.
We have, and in the past years, we had a shorter ladder truck to do the work with. Yeah, we didn't have the run volume we do today. Matter of fact, we're up 200 runs compared to last year this time, which is a lot.
Thank you. And the OHM, $4,700 for the bathroom at Fire Station 2, is that for the parks?
Yeah.
$7,700 to triple ice for the TTT electric for deposit. This is for deposit for disconnected feed generator for $7,700.
Yes.
What is that?
Our generators don't work properly.
Yeah.
The generator in all the generators have, some of the generators have services on them where they're checked regularly, but one that powers here, from what I understand from Bill, was not working and was a danger to be around, so that.
Okay. And then the last is just for Good See Meals on Wheels, we had voted to award or donate $10,000 to the seniors. There's a check for $78.50. Had we already given them some prior to that? Was it only 10? Okay.
We can move on to unfinished business. Starting with A, which is I returned the last under the statute by the personal property of the township, so I did bring it back to Paul. So
I understand an explanation. You return to, oh,
I returned the old land
okay.
and then redesignate funds from Gettysburg Pathway.
Okay, let me just make a comment. We have another laptop that's missing from the township that we really need. Based on what, we've already reached out. It's, the past treasurer.
Well, I tell you, the county, what we used to do is get, they would give everybody a laptop, and then at the end of your service, they would give you an option to buy. So, you know, like when I was at the county, I had a laptop, and at the end, I paid something, and then
That's,
and that
we
we
didn't do
don't
it
really
that
have
way.
a policy. Would be nice to have a policy. We don't have, but I'll reach out. Then the redesignate funds from Gettysburg Pathway. Redesignate the funds from Gettysburg Pathway to Gettys Road Pathway. I sent all the information to the board to indicate that after it was evaluated, that is in fact Hyundai's surplus money. And I'm gonna try to work with them to see if they will give us some of that money for a good cause. But both the bond counsel, the controller, and I don't know if the controller wrote, I talked to him, and our auditor all looked at it, and it was money, a little strange, in 2008, the, Hyundai had prepaid some bills that were otherwise the township's responsibility. When we got the bond, we were to repay that 184 roughly to Hyundai. It never happened. They never requested it. I told Hyundai at least 4 times over the last 4 years, you've got money sitting here. Why do you ask for an accounting on it? We'll figure it all out. Well, they finally did. So we got.
So Ken, what I remember, since I've been on the board, was you saying, and this was when the fund was renamed, we actually renamed the fund to the Gettys Road Fund, and I remember you saying that you had talked to Hyundai and that they told you, and it seems like there was a letter too, somewhere, or something from Hyundai saying that they were just giving that money. No, you don't remember, okay. No.
I know that.
I don't know if that was in the audit, that's. Okay.
So, we'll work with the treasurer on that, and I'll work with Hyundai to see if we can get some of that and use it for the purpose. And then Stevens Drive speed bumps, they requested it, the board requested, I sent a letter the next day, or the next couple of days to the road commission, and they will be here on January 20th. So if you want to have a little powwow before that, I'll ask them to come a little early, and I can arrange it that you can decide if you want to come maybe at 6:40 or something, and they can come early. I thought I might get them on a presentation too. And anybody who's interested in talking about that on the board.
There were some road signs that were purchased too in our disbursements.
I saw that. I didn't know anything.
You don't know what they were for?
Somebody knocked down the sign. They replaced it in Chelsea.
Do you know where?
They said it was on Harrison something.
Okay.
Harrison, then I think there was one on Bromley that got knocked. Also.
Yeah, they got knocked down by homeowners.
Really?
Should have been wrong. Should have been.
But then I asked. There's nothing down. So I don't know what. But I asked them for it.
Drive-by knockdown.
So I asked the road commission. But they asked me why we are paying for it.
That would be good.
It might have been something that a prior board had agreed to. I was. Okay, so that's it. We move on to new business, resolution 2379, from the salary of trustees. So that's resolution 2379. Can I get a motion on that? Any discussion on it?
I would like to talk about this a little bit. I sent you all an update, very recent update on the comparative schedule for officials and trustees salaries, in townships around us. And for the trustees, we were the second lowest paid. I think some of us, or trustees anyway, do a lot of work, and we should be, and it's not on the day of the meeting. I would like, and I noticed that you didn't increase it, but that was, but
You normally do it like.
well, so here, but everything, okay. So I'm recommending, that we increase the trustees, stipend, to match Scioto Township. Scioto Township's population is 17,526, ours is 1,400. I would like to
How much?
10,000
10,000.
total for the trustees, would be divided by 4.
You get $10,000, $2,500 extra for the trustee.
So that just,
Should it be an average based on?
And I'm sorry, an average?
Based on population?
Oh, no, well, it depends, there's a lot of things that could go into it, Nancy.
Yeah, I've been doing this.
Yeah, right, it can go as far as the number of meetings we have, and we should have more meetings, if you have this long agenda. So, actually, the 10,000 for SIO is per trustee for a year.
Additional?
No,
No,
it's just, right now it's 45, well, or we could go,
It's 375.
375.
no, we get 4,500 a year. And the reason I'm doing this, it's so that we can attract people to run for trustee. And we hope that they would work on this board. They're part of the shared governance. When you look at, when you look, and I'll talk about the supervisors, clerks, and treasurers, salary, your salaries are very comparable to all of the other towns, all of the other counties. In fact, sometimes yours is like you're doing more than Ipsy right now. There's no reason that the trustees shouldn't be recognized for the work that they do. They don't coordinate. So I'm recommending that a trustee would, on an annual basis, would get 10,000.
Let's do this on the table.
Yes.
Okay. That's the board. So you want to make a motion?
Want to make a motion to amend, not to amend, just that the trustees should earn $10,000 a year serving on this board. Which, is, Plymouth Township, the trustees get 10,000. Dixie Township, the trustees get 17,179. I don't think it's that much money. And we put in a lot of work and effort.
You support me, right?
Substitute that without having a motion that you substitute that. Now we're going to have a roll call vote on the 10,000.
Bentley, yes. Addison?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Seahouse?
Yes.
McGill? Yes. Schwartz?
Okay, that takes us to resolution to affirm the 2024 salary of the superior clerk. Like a motion.
Again, we should do this based on average. If, and we're speaking about the clerk, that could just be we should do it strictly based on the based on the
So Nancy, why I wouldn't do it based on the average is because you're doing the same amount of work. No matter how many residents you have, you're still having to do the zoning, like it depends on the property, you're having to do elections, you're having to do all of the things that are required by the township. So to do it, like if you look at the schedule that I handed out, this is all applied. No, I brought. Well, I think I brought some of the copies. That's so much.
I just wanted to be fair.
So that it is.
No, I'm not worried about, I'm not worried about the trustee PC, the separate future trustees.
Oh, I remember seeing it in our class.
Okay, so if you look at, we're talking about the clerk right now, right? So if you look at the clerks in the Ann Arbor Township, this is a 70 or a 3/4 time FTE in Ann Arbor Township. It's not 100%, it's at 86.9, it's 3/4 time. Pittsfield is 103,000, Plymouth is 120,000, Scioto is 99,000. Ours, and I'm not sure I updated this, was that, were you asking for 90,000 for? Yeah, 90,000.
9,000. Is that what ours is now?
Yes, so
That's what it will be.
what I want to say, if you've been reading about short duties all over the place. The clerks are, there's new demands on clerks in the state of Michigan. I would advocate for whoever's going to be clerk next time that we look at increasing the amount that we give to clerk. Right now, this our clerk at 90,680 is the lowest of all of them. So I would recommend that we amend this resolution and at least give her what Scioto Township has, and that would be $99,403. Scioto Township is the closest to us. I support, and it could be she or he. So I don't know. Yeah. This is serious.
Personally, I feel well.
But then let's talk about the third grade.
Well, we can deal with that. We'll be set. Coming forward next year in August and September of next year.
So I'm recommending for salary of $99,403.
So my question goes to, the treasurer as well, because it looks like there's been, with the exception of Silo, the clerk and treasurers have always had equal. They've always been that way since well, I'm talking about other townships. Yeah. We should do it one at a time.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying, I want to keep that. Right. So my question is, we got there, I was seeing a 4%. And it seems like every year there's either like a 4% or some type of a bump, based on a small percentage. Where does that percentage come from?
We generally take the same as the office employees or the non-union employees. So we budgeted this year for a 4% raise for non-union, and we are lumped in with.
But when you look at the other officials in the other townships, that's what I'm comparing it to.
What are we voting on? This one? Yes. Finley, yes. Seacrest?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Blaine, I got you. Schwartz?
No.
I'm sorry. Trustee Wonder? Yes.
It takes us to resolution 2381, which is the 2024 salary of the treasurer. And I should just remind everybody, in the audience, we are required to do this by law. The officers of the township have to have their salary affirmed for the beginning of the next. We do this every year. If I can get a motion of support on the treasurer.
So support.
Can I ask? Are you talking about what's on the resolution? Or
We haven't gotten to that.
did you made a motion and a support for the resolution relative
We had a discussion on it.
to the treasurer?
Yes.
There's a motion for it.
Yes.
So, anybody want to talk about that? Treasurer's salary?
Just the point that I was making earlier about how those are usually kind of a side-by-side comparison. I had another question.
Can you speak up?
And I was just thinking, I had another question, but I was just saying that with regards to looking at all of the other townships, clerks and treasurers, are typically, side by side in the same amount. So that was the one point I wanted to bring up.
And then the other point was with regards to Plymouth Township. I was sort of impressed by the way they do things. They had their vote, I think it was last year, and they have a no increase until 2025. They don't even discuss that until 2025. Because they paid them pretty damn well.
They did.
I don't know what they mean.
It's on what I know.
Well, it's here, but it's on the spreadsheet. It just, I mean, I think that they compensated folks for the job. So there's a level of understanding that during your tenure as a supervisor or clerk or treasurer, that you're gonna be compensated, and we're not taking up that discussion for you.
And that's because they have a salary or a salary compensation,
Commission.
commission, which we talked about earlier. We talked about that a few years ago, that we could do that. I think we were appointed the odd year.
Yeah. So this is going to be an increase in the treasurer's office.
I'm just trying to
I
be.
think it was moved and supported.
Yeah. I mean, I would like this, my motion would be to make sure that they're comparable.
Ninety-nine.
99.4.
I don't even know what it is, but
That's what it says.
Okay, well. See, one more question?
Finley, yes. Patterson?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Gill?
yes,
Seacrest?
Yes.
Schwartz?
No.
If I may, I think that for clarity's purpose, because it's really not clear, were you voting on the $99,000 amount?
Yeah,
Okay, I just want that,
it's reflected in the minutes.
okay, I just wanted, because it wasn't clear to me based upon the way the motion was made. And then the discussion, it wasn't not a motion to amend the prior motion. That's why. I wanted to
so
make sure it's
the
clear.
motion was to amend the prior motion. Thank you for that.
So the motion to amend the prior motion, now we have to vote on the motion itself, on the resolution.
Yeah.
So let's call the roll again. And this is on the resolution with the amendment.
Finley, yes. Patterson?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
McGill?
Yes,
Seacrest? Schwartz?
No.
Or do we have to go back and do the same thing for the other one, Brad?
No, because that first one, that's why I interrupted you first. You had the discussion regarding the amount before you had made the motion. The motion was made at the $99,000 figure. This one, you had made the motion on the resolution. Presented, that's why I just wanted to clarify.
Okay. Resolution 2382, setting the salary of the supervisor. Amen.
I would like to make an amendment that we set it at 90,000.
Support.
And then.
90,000.
You
I know.
can't be.
You can't
No,
reduce
yeah, but you
Might be
said
a
we
good
could
story.
talk
You
another-
cannot reduce the
Right.
salary of the elected official
Right.
during their term.
During the term of office during the year.
Mhm,
No,
during the term.
during their term.
Right.
All right, so there a motion on the table for the resolution.
support.
Any changes? I don't feel like I need a raise, to be honest. So, I'll be voting no on this.
Patterson? How much are we increasing?
4%.
4%.
Patterson?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Okay. Finley, no. Lewis?
Yes.
Lindsay?
No.
Uh, McGill,
Yes.
Seacrest,
Yes.
passes.
Thank you. We move on. And that is a resolution from the salaries of all non-union employees, the Charlotte Township. It's resolution 2023-83. This is for the non-union 4% higher than their 2024 compensation.
Support.
Is there any question? Oh, before any questions?
So this is one that I guess I've been trying to wrap my head around for years. Because one of the things that we said we were gonna do, but we still have yet to do, I don't know. Maybe you guys are doing it, but it's merit, increases based on performance. And so there has not been any, as far as I'm aware, to do performance evaluations. And this is where we get into the challenge of you've got employees, high performing employees, and you also may have some low performing employees, but everyone is getting the same pay increase. So I think I struggle and I continue to stand by what I'm saying, the importance of annual or at least maybe twice a year performance evaluations to just make sure that we're making a decision that we are doing something to incentivize our high performing employees.
Trustee McGill, I agree with you 100%, and I think that also, would be why we need a compensation committee. And totally agree. And not just that, if you notice, ask on the agenda, motion to hire a part-time personnel director. So we'll get to that, and hopefully that person can make sure all of that comes.
Thank you.
Please pass.
I say it every year and nothing's happened, so I just want to repeat it. Say it for people.
Okay, so any other questions? We move and support it. We have a roll call vote.
Right. Aviston?
Yes.
Finley, yes. Lewis?
Yeah.
Lincoln?
Yes.
McGill?
No.
Seacrest?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Resolution 2384 to approve the administrative staff of the Fire Township purchase medical dental and vision soon for the employees of the township. The healthcare total went up 7.3%. And we have exactly the same plan that we had last year, with the exception that there's an extra $100 deductible for just an extra $100. Other than that, the EPO Go, and it's the same plan that we've had with probably 5 or 6 years. The motion.
Support.
Any questions on it? Seeing none, we'll have it call.
Link?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yeah.
Finley, yes. Aviston?
Yes.
McGill?
Yes.
Schwartz? Seacrest?
Yes.
Motion passes.
To resolution 2085. This is the contribution to the Merck's healthcare savings. Union 425 per month in 2024 and non-union $200 per month in 2024 for healthcare savings plan.
So moved. Support.
Any questions?
Finley, yes. Aviston?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yeah.
Lincoln?
Yes.
McGill?
Yes.
Seacrest?
No.
Schwartz? Unanimous.
So that is the resolution 2086, and this is the amended healthcare savings plan participation agreement with individual employees. These employees are Dan Allen, Jeff French, and Sean Bach. The union guys want 2% as a rate, and Dan Allen wants 3%. This is the money that will be paid into the non-union health care retirement.
Move the resolution. Who support? You. Is that the discussion?
Yeah. So the reason that we allow these three people, and it could be more or less than getting here, when the township went into the MERS Healthcare Savings Program, people that were hired prior to November 1st, 2011, were allowed to make adjustments that the people who came in afterwards were stuck at.
On the schedule?
On the state, stuck at. So, yeah.
I have a question, perhaps I'm not a union, I've never been involved in a union contract. Usually I haven't trouble talking. But isn't when, just getting to your husband, when you do a union contract, aren't salaries and benefits and all that just, you're not speaking into the mic, I'll be here to hear you like this.
If I can answer your question, this is the bargaining amount.
It is,
It is the bargaining amount.
but
of the
it's
contract.
for union and non-union.
Well, the bargaining
You
amount is
pay
for
dues, okay? The union employees pay dues, they used to.
What's the question? I don't understand the question.
Well, you gotta speak in the mic. I just wanna make sure that I'm understanding what it is that we're giving to both union and non-union. If union members pay dues to get those benefits. Am I making, I probably not making myself.
Is already part of your contract, that's just.
Nancy, you too have.
We have a contract that runs through December 31st, 2026. So, yeah, everything.
Yeah, that amount is already part of the contract, it's just being brought to the board before 25.
Okay, it was approved by the board in 2022, I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so the healthcare savings donation is set when we, sign a contract.
Right.
So it's for 5 years. So yeah, ours is really negotiable and violating our contract.
No, but you're paying to get those benefits.
We negotiate in good faith with the government. We do pay dues because we wanted two different things to support us and back us. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I understood that you were paying for something you're giving to non-union people like myself that would benefit without paying as you do, that's all.
Yeah, we only negotiate for our.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Well, yes, Finley, yes, Lewis?
Yeah.
Thank you. McGill, yes, Seacrest? Schwartz?
Yes. So that takes us to resolution 2387. This is our annual opt-out as set forth in Public Act 2011, which set hard caps. And if you go over the hard cap, you can be penalized. Well, we did go over the hard cap for the first time this year. So the law gives you an option to opt out of the Public Act. We do this every year. We opt out. So if I get a motion. So moved. Any questions? Hang on. You can read that.
Lewis?
Yeah.
Finley, yes. Caviston? Yes. Linky? McGill? Yes. Seacrest?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Okay, so this is resolution 2388, and this is resolution to approve assessing license incentive. So this would be, for the. Any questions? Seeing none, we're not going to read the roll.
Lewis?
Yeah.
Galveston.
Yes.
Finley, yes. Linky,
Yes.
speaking of my, I can't hear.
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
Seacrest,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
unanimous.
Okay, thank you. We have resolution 2023-89, which is a resolution to approve water operators license incentive. Same basic idea.
So moved.
Support.
I only wanted, I'd like to amend this a little bit, and it would just, I don't know what,
You mind going?
yeah,
No.
okay. So, that the gentleman or women would only receive one incentive, like, let's say they had two different holdings or three different licensing, that they receive the top license one time.
That's what I think that's what.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Finley, yes. Galveston.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Linky,
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
Seacrest,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. Okay, this is to resolution 2023-90. And this is a resolution to approve the Washtenaw Area Mutual Aid Council interlocal agreement with our fire departments.
So moved.
Support.
You want the chief to brief you so, this or good? Good.
There's very self.
Yeah, we're just usually.
Mutual aid.
Okay. Any no questions? You want the chief to brief?
Finley, yes. Galveston.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
Seacrest,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Linky,
Yes.
unanimous.
So that takes us to M, which we have pulled until we get this other bid, and that will take us to 2392, which are 2392, which are the year-end bond ratings for all funds.
Support.
Any questions on this? It's here, we adjust so that we're balanced at the end of the year. Nancy, if you have any questions. Keith, I believe, is on Zoom, so if you have any questions on that.
So I do, I would like to have, a little bit more detail on it, it's where the account that says it's the district library and where
What are you operating?
second page of the budget, and that's top account 805.004. We're increasing, that line item by $70,000, the original budget was 50. I think we need to have detail on that because I want to make sure that we're not.
Yeah, that's all for ASI, for the contractors who did the paving there. And I guess you can talk to Pete that the estimate was 50, but it came out to be higher. But
It's 120,000. So what I want to make sure is that, you said we're getting reimbursed for all of this?
Well, we'll get reimbursed the total cost of putting in, the left-hand turn lane on Terrace Road. Minus if it all goes through $40,000 grant from the county, which will be dependent upon us matching that on debt forgiveness. So if we take 80,000 off the total amount, that's what the library will owe.
Okay, so then you're talking about, we never voted on a match. So what I want to,
No, we haven't got.
okay, so Keith is on the line. If we're expecting any reimbursement, I didn't see.
But we discussed that in the previous meeting, that we would be reimbursed.
When that they finished. Okay, so Keith, I want to make sure that we, if we're expecting reimbursement, that we're showing that revenue, that we budgeted revenue for the reimbursement.
Yes, it's
It's showing in the balance
coming. Better
sheet.
speak into the mic.
It's showing in the balance sheet as a revenue for a receivable from the library. And the general fund.
Okay, but if we show, so does that mean we're not matching revenue and expenses? So should we, what I'm saying is, should we show that budget as a revenue source? Since we're showing the expense. We're budgeting the expense. Showing it as a receivable.
Yes, but we're not carrying the expense. for the township as a receivable. We paid for it, but we're gonna be reimbursed. I'm only carrying it on the balance sheet, so we're not expensing it out.
Not revenue.
Okay, well, we're showing budget for increasing. The other thing is the debt interest on the rock property. I thought, on a yearly basis, the debt interest was supposed to be about 42,000, and this is it's going up to 84,000.
That's what it originally was, and it would be May and November every year.
So 84,000 a year
Yes.
in interest.
Well, that's the whole ball of interest
Yeah,
payment being
I
done.
thought the principal was like 100,000, and the interest was about 42,000.
Well, the principal and interest is paid in May, and then in November, another interest payment is made.
Okay, so
Principal.
So it's 80,000 a year in interest?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and that is it.
So we do have a motion of support. Do you want to read any other questions? If not, we read. Okay, we roll.
Finley, yes. Travis,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Schwartz, Lincoln,
Yes.
Seacross,
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
unanimous.
Okay, so and on this is O, which is motion to approve some removal of land clearing and areas going to community farm. Is it? Let's see, this. It was $18,000.
Is that, is, this is their environmental assessment.
So it was $18,000 and that was to remove all the stumps and everything that, all the biomass that's on the property, to 1 foot deep and put it into an arable condition. And the first guy we had, 3 brothers, we paid them about half of what they owed, but they weren't able to do the job completely. So we had to go to, an excavator, somebody could go in there with the proper control. A large excavator would come in. They'll be removing all the roots, all the tree trunks, everything, and will make the land arable to about a foot deep. And then you turn it over for disking and harrowing.
And it's not in here because you said you would get it.
Okay. $18,000 is spiker. We've used many times here in the past, and it would be best to do it night before things freeze. If it freezes, we'll just have to wait for the spring. The dam can get on it. And if you want, we'll turn it off. We'll be, we'll just be adjourned for. Okay.
I think this is for, oh, you're right, you're right, you're right. Yeah. Eventually,
This is the one here.
I know.
Oh, I guess, he didn't phone, he just text me seconds.
And who decided to still put it? Are you leaving, Nancy?
Want someone else to do it? You look like you.
You watch this expose me, so.
No, I didn't.
All right, so, we got the estimate here and, it's $18,000 to dig out all the stuff, work up the ground, all the stuff to, the utility department will have to find a place to put them somewhere down there, otherwise it's gonna be much more expensive. And then, the idea is we'll have to work with the fire chief on this, take all that additional biomass, push it in the middle, because there's a ton of it, and burn it. So I hope the chief will let us do that, otherwise it would be a lot more money to haul that out to a site, and a dump. So it'd be 19.5.
So even though I would love to see this done, immediately, would there a reason that we didn't do a couple other estimates? And since we are approving this, is there any conflict of interest here with any of us, that this company has done work for us?
It's gonna work for the township.
No, personally.
No, it's never done.
Okay. Okay.
Not familiar.
That's what we need to.
So I always. It's hard to find people who are willing to do this. We've worked with Dan in the past on numerous occasions. He did the French trench, he moved all the stumps up in the back here. He did the grading in the front in the past. And we needed to get a bid in because it's gonna freeze. And if it freezes, all off until the spring.
So is the bottom line 19,000?
At this point, yes. I mean, we have to come back.
Yeah, no, I would love to go ahead and try to get this done, and, also I wanted to just give a recognition to Laura Bennett.
Can you speak into the mic for me?
I want to give recognition to Laura Bennett because I've heard some wonderful compliments with regards to how she's worked very, well with getting this Play-Doh project off the ground. So I just wanted to make sure that we publicly recognize her efforts and, always try to give recognition of those. So let her know. Thank you.
We do a motion?
Yeah.
No, I'm so moved. So moved.
We know what we're, redevelop.
Sure. Finley, yes. Halverson, absent. Lewis?
Yes.
Winky? McGill?
Yes.
Sitwell?
Yes.
Schwartz? No.
Yes.
What's not right?
We're not there yet.
I think you missed.
Okay.
the process.
So I put on everybody's desk,
page.
I got it. So, I put on everybody's desk and neglected to, add it. But, this year, we have nobody to plow the hall. Fire is going to plow fire, utilities gonna plow utilities, in the past, fire would plow here. I think they don't, they're not gonna do it. So I got a bid from Margolis in the last minute, he went down the road, he's a resident. He will do both sides of the hall for $7,500 flat fee. That's every time it exceeds 2 inches in depth, and he'll spread salt with each, application, each plow.
You said $7,500.
Yeah.
$7,500 each time?
No.
So it's like a flat fee.
Year.
Okay. So I'll give you
Seven.
several. But what if we don't even smell?
Well, then you can do it at 225 plowing, but that's only when you get 5 inches, and then there's $75 fee for each additional inch, and then $150 application. So you're rolling the dice, you know. You can do it either way you want.
So I'm gonna ask the same question as the previous. Is there a reason we didn't have at least 3 bids since there's snow removal companies all over? And is there a conflict of interest with Marcos?
I don't think I have.
So you cannot have them do any work for the trees with your house? Okay.
I mean, I bought a tree, shrub.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
So I mean, you can choose either one, it's either or, the $7,000 flat fee, doesn't matter how much snow you get. Or you can do the 225 plowing, but that's only up to 5 inches. And the reason, I just found out about this like 10 days ago, and I think we need to get it done, we have a big snowstorm, we're extremely prepared.
So could we actually get another bid, you know, like, our road association uses Conklin, they're very good.
Who?
Is it Conklin? Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting a couple more bids. just to see.
Conklin's right here, yeah, Firestone.
They do really well. Well, I'm not saying for them, but they do a good job too. So I just think it would be good to get a few more bids. I don't think we're gonna have a big snowstorm anytime soon.
Okay, that's
Looking at the
fine.
weather.
Why don't you give the, staff, the 3 members here to go ahead and approve a snow plowing bid, we'll get some more, and we'll inform you, but
totally cool with that.
we just need to get it done in case it is.
Yeah,
And
I
then Barry, you can give us a bid.
Well, no, that's a conflict of interest.
I don't know. All right, we'll find this.
Yeah, sounds like.
There is a conflict.
I don't think it is. It's
I don't
long as
either.
it's a competitive bid
Well,
situation.
everybody was, I mean, we're asking questions about all these other folks. But he hasn't done anything for us. So that's the conflict of interest.
Well, I got shovel my head.
Well, we're not worried.
Anyway, that's all.
Okay,
Okay,
so you, what do you want to talk about?
we want
No, we wanna
to
make a motion for the, you
Okay,
agree to figure that
so
out.
the motion would be for us to solicit other bids, make a determination. I'll try to get something in this week. We don't want to go for holiday.
No, I agree.
So if I can get that motion, and support,
support.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we'll take it. That takes us down to.
With the, holiday.
Yeah, the holiday, schedule. Can I get a motion?
Nope.
Do we miss something?
Wait a minute.
Not down here, Mark.
The discontinued consideration.
We're on P.
Hey,
All right, so this is a motion to discontinue consideration of selling or donating on land referred to as rock property. I'd like to speak on this first. You know, to discontinue, to me makes no sense. When we get something in from the parks, we'll share it. There will be lots of discussion before this, we can take it to doing. But to discontinue property means we don't know. Which means, Does not make sense, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe what, just from listening to, the folks that talked tonight, maybe what we move is that there's a clear process for continuing talks about, an easement.
Well, I think we would get it the way it's described, so we will get a proposed easement, then they go to the board, then the board can do whatever they want. We can have a hearing on it, we can decide what we want to do, it might be fine the way it is, I don't know.
I think they wanted input, and I think that makes sense to have input even before it starts to get drafted. And,
Most of it, is kind of boilerplate, and so I think we should see the boilerplate draft, and we don't have to accept that, but we can have a public hearing on it. We'll talk about
well, I think what we've heard is that they want, and I understand, they want an open process, and they want to have input. No one's saying that we're not going to eventually have a conservation easement. No one's saying that, we just say, we can change this to read that there's a clear process spelled out.
Yeah,
That even before it gets to the, before it even got to a vote from the, Land Conservancy Commission at the county, our board should have made a resolution that we wanted them to look at it.
Well,
Same for the Parks and Recreation Commission at the county.
It was discussed since May that we were in the process of getting, and it was in the minutes.
You said that we were, none of us voted on it. We never voted on it.
Well, we haven't decided yet what to do, we don't have.
But we didn't vote on moving forward, okay?
Well, we didn't vote on it. We have to vote on whether it's going to accept it or reject. Yes, there's no doubt about that.
If I can just, I just want to say something.
Yeah, I clearly
Please come
heard
to
all,
mind.
yeah. I heard all the residents' comments, and I can't disagree with any of them relative to the need for them to have input on this. I think the thing that you need to have though is a document to look at so that the residents know what is being talked about.
Exactly.
Clearly, what I'm not suggesting, I'm suggesting is that we should get something from them to see what they're proposing. And then, once we get that, then the process should be for this board with public hearings or whatever it wishes to do relative to that, to then be able to go back and say, okay, this is the document, what do we like, what do we don't like, do we even want to do this?
But Fred, it wasn't that they're proposing it out of the blue. We asked them.
I understand.
That's why, we're asking something for it. I think that's what.
All we're asking for is for them to provide us with a document that you can review.
Why couldn't we leave them?
Because they draft, because they're drafting the documents. There's two reasons. Number one, it's less expensive for them to draft it than for us to draft it initially. Number one, but number two, they do this all the time. So we're not reinventing the wheel. Number three, there is nothing that clearly anything that comes from them to us is subject to your review, the citizen input on it, and whether you want to do it or not. So receiving a document from them doesn't require you to do anything other than to review it and then decide what you want to do with the citizen input, which is what the citizens would, as I heard today, those individuals want to hear what it is that's in that document and maybe make suggested changes to it. But often, even when I'm drafting a contract, if somebody else, I take the contract and then review the contract and make changes to that contract. And then if I have the option of saying, nope, don't want to do it at all, or yes, let's go forward with these changes. So I personally would say, from my perspective, you would be better off receiving their document, reviewing it with your citizens and with the board and determining if you want to do it at that point, and if you do, how you want to change that document to meet the demands of the citizen.
Or if you don't want to do it, just reject it.
Or just reject it out now. So you're not bound by any.
One other, that the county said they're gonna do phase one. What happens? Environment. So
What does that mean?
An environmental study is what you're talking about.
they're gonna do phase one.
What did that mean?
So they're
What,
doing
phase one?
No, I know what phase one means. We haven't approved it. Phase one, so I'm confused.
Well, all they're doing is looking. Not doing anything other than doing. Phase one.
Yeah, it's not, there's no cost to the township for it.
Okay.
So.
So what are our requirements? What are we expected to do then?
On this, I think the expectation is we'll receive a proposed, conservation easement, which we'll send to the board, and then the board will take it from there. They'll
Is
say,
that after the environmental study?
they won't send us a conservation easement until they've done the study. They're not taking a pollution. We know it's not polluted, but they have to do that to protect themselves. And so, then we get it, I forward it to the board. Then the board can say, we want to have a public hearing on it, or we want a series of public hearings. They can say, we want this, that, or the other on it, or we don't want it at all. So this motion is to discontinue consideration. We want to continue the consideration, but it doesn't mean that we have signed any document which binds the township.
So really, it's a motion to pause pending receipt of a proposal from the county.
Well, that's fine.
And I think that's the only thing that anybody's asking for, and I think that's what everybody's in agreement with.
Well, yeah, it's just- it's-
I know, that's what I'm saying, I just think it's a matter for.
Can you repeat your vote?
A motion to pause consideration, just take out
Until
this
we receive
continue
documentation.
until we receive
And
documentation.
the board sends it.
Support.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This takes us to, there was another. Phase, the baseline environmental assessment. Play, project.
It is in there.
Yeah, it's in the someone or on the agenda. Oh, yeah, it's not.
You've got.
All right, so let's go to the questions. So, motion to appoint a refund member.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
it.
Motion to appoint refund.
Support.
Okay, any questions on those? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then our motion to approve baseline environmental assessment care plan for MacArthur Boulevard in the amount of $4,750.
Support.
Any questions?
Finley, yes. Addison, absent. Lewis.
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Stevens. Schwartz.
It has motion to hire a part-time personnel director.
Support. I mean, so.
We can set up the posting later.
Yes.
For how much?
We didn't, because of the posting of it, we just wanted to put on record that we quit it, even if we have to have another.
We'll come back
Come back.
with a higher. Okay, so all in favor of, hiring a part-time personnel director when we are satisfied we found the right person to do the job, say aye.
But I
No, that's not what this motion is for.
Okay.
Because we have to come back and approve the salary and.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying the concept.
concept's good.
Can I make a comment about that?
Sure.
My comment is, I think that it's important that you identify what the role and function
Right.
of that personnel. And that should be something. That should be something that you identify in, before you even consider what you're going to post for, is identifying what will that individual be responsible for? And to whom will they be accountable for before you get to even the idea? I think that maybe what you need, if I may make a suggestion, what you should do is appoint a subgroup to draft a
Job description.
and what they're responsible
And
for. All of that. And
who they'll be reporting to.
or
So that's, an amendment to the concept of just hiring. Yeah, because it wasn't to hire someone.
No.
But Fred, you make an outstanding suggestion as far as the committee. So we need to add them to the.
So how many people do you want?
Maybe have someone internally.
So,
Get someone
who's
internally.
volunteering?
Okay.
Would you two, and then we could maybe, Nancy, would you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy would help as part of the staff, that's three. So can we get a motion to appoint Rhonda, Louise, and Nancy Mason to be a committee to review the desired language in the posting?
I move the motion.
Work. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, any opposed? Okay. That takes us down to motion to approve the holiday schedule. Any motion?
Support.
Any discussion on that?
Yes.
Okay.
So I do want some clarification. That was one of my questions I was gonna ask this evening with regards to the December 23rd and 31st of 2024. That 8-day of closure. Can we walk through that?
Well, who proposed that?
The 23rd of December is a Monday, and the 31st would be a Tuesday. And so that means that basically, and then they return around and be off on January 1st. So
This fall, last year's,
So the township's actually close for a full.
If I may, I will say the treasurer's office will not be closed on December 31st because by law, they are not allowed to be closed on the last day of the calendar.
I guess
I
I'm,
can't speak for anybody else, but the treasurer's office will not be closed on December 31st.
I guess I'm a little shocked that we would close our offices completely down for an entire week.
If you look at other townships, they're doing.
Okay, but I'm gonna just say this again. I find it surprising that we would close our offices for an entire week. That's so, to me, there should be some activity, even if we're not, people aren't in the entire day. I mean, good Lord, I would love to not have to work a full week from my job. But it just, and then we're not being fully honest about it because then they're also off on the 1st. So you're really getting on 9 days. And that's what I'm saying, because now you're getting on 9 days, you're only saying the 23rd through the 31st of 2024. You might as well tack on and say, we won't reopen until.
Well, this is for board. You can adjust it.
This is for 2024, I know, but what I'm just saying is, when you look at the entirety of it, that's 9 days, 5, 6, or 8 days of our township offices being closed. I'm just.
Before our weekends.
No. What I'm saying is, if you take Monday through Friday, the 23rd through the 27th, it's 5 days, and then the 30th, 31st, and the 1st, that's 3 more days. Correct.
And Christmas Eve.
So the 23rd is a Monday.
So we can
It should be the 20. And then you're gonna stay closed the 26th, 27th.
Right.
And then the 30th. And then the 31st is New Year's Eve, so most places close for half a day or whatever. I just find it kind of shocking. It seems like there's a lot of closure.
Is there a motion to revise the schedule?
I think they have a motion.
There's a motion to approve. I just
And
want
we're in
to
discussion.
say it. You guys,
Now we're in discussion.
She could make a motion,
Right.
a motion to amend the prior motion.
What was it this year? Are you off?
are you guys closing it down?
We're closed
It's
this week.
consistent with that.
That's consistent with really every community alone. And when Bill was here, they did stay open. back then. There was like really no traffic.
To answer your question, we're closed on the 22nd. And everybody else is off through the 28th. The treasurer's office is on the 29th. And then we're all off that weekend, which is the 30th and the 31st. We're off the 1st and we return on the 2nd. And
This is typical.
yeah, I was just trying to answer your question. You asked whether, what was the schedule for this year?
And we got 4 weekend days, we got 3 days of holiday. But do we have a motion?
I just feel like the office should be open at least a couple of days.
I think the motion is that. But it's on the table. Would you have a motion?
We need a motion for the holiday schedule for 2024.
No, I'm just confused. I'm looking at you, I'm just used to it.
But the key is, once we move it, support it, then you can discuss it and change it.
So I move it. Move that.
I moved it already.
I thought they moved.
I'm sorry?
I thought it was moved in support.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So we were discussing.
I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I thought it was.
No,
How-
the discussion.
Seeing no discussion, all in favor of approving the holiday schedule 2024? Please send it, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Yes, suppose.
And then we need a motion to approve the township meeting schedule for 2024. So that's the typical third Monday of the month unless there is a legal holiday, which there are 3 of them next year, in January, February, and June. So if I get a motion,
So
any discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That takes us to B. What are we talking about? Do we have something we can?
we all have the letter. We all have the letter from Carolyn and then the letter from.
I think we need a copy. Yeah, that.
No, I do not have a copy of the letter. I mean, we can get copies.
You want me to get it? I'll go get it.
Also the letter to you, or the email to you.
Wrong.
The long email
Very.
responding to that letter.
So, do you want to table this?
I think so.
Yeah, Ken, I think this should be tabled till next month, only because there's a lot of
Yeah, I agree. Or a special meeting.
information.
You want to have a special meeting on it?
There's a lot to unpack, and to just try to pull it all together here.
Okay, why don't we table this?
But there is a need to unpack that. I'm absolutely willing to do it all.
Absolutely.
You want to table it to the next month?
So I would like to make a motion to table this discussion until next month, or if we decide to.
I would like to enter into a special meeting rather than having that
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we table it, but we will plan on finding a convenient date prior to the next board meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so.
We gotta vote on the
motion to table. Or, okay, all in favor of that motion to table items, B and W, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Please and petitions, is there anybody that? Please.
I'd like to say a mistake was made by my office with respect to a scammer, and steps are being taken to correct this error and make the township whole. And lastly, the former treasurer was consulted back in September with respect to the tax roll and millage rates, because this treasurer had never completed them by herself.
So it's not consulted on the issue.
The former treasurer was consulted about tax roll and millage rates because I had never completed them by myself.
Any other?
Yes, I have a couple. Along with the certification benefits for assessing utilities, I would really like to bring to the table next time Parks and Recreation for certification that the director has that really benefits this township.
It may be that Parks and Recreation has that authority themselves.
Well, they actually talked about it today, and if they had the authority to vote on it, and if they didn't vote on approving, right? One. Right. They supported the idea.
Yeah, there was no action taken, but there was, I think, general support of the discussions. The commissioners are here if they want to speak. That just, certifications are recognized for all employees and not just certain employees, especially if they pertain to the job and performance and the value that they bring to the township.
Right.
So is the Parks Commission going to do something as far as working something up or not?
Could
you?
I could put together a resolution for the Park Commission. We just want to make sure that if we do it on our end, it's consistent with what the township does on their end.
Okay. That's great.
The other petition for me would be that when we're talking about farming the rock property, before we offer that out to the farmer that has done it the last 2 years, let's open it up to other farmers in our community. And I have a question. Did we approve together the regular minutes for our last meeting? I know we did the closed minutes.
It's in the consent agenda.
I think it just wasn't written down.
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah, there was. Yeah, November 20.
Okay, any other pleas and petitions? Yes, sir.
Hi, Banner Green. I live in the Oakbrook division. First of all, thank you all for doing the work of the township. What I would like to ask of the board of trustees today is that we made clear the process as far as how bids are offered to the township. Based on any discussion I've heard of the last township meetings, it's very unclear to me how bids are submitted to the township and how they are reviewed. So if that process is made public for all citizens to review, that would be great. Thank you.
We do have a process in place. If you leave your email, I'll send it to you.
I'm speaking for my own zone. SO says, I would like to re-request the participation of the Washtenaw County Sheriffs in the January's meeting to respond to the 20 incidents that were requested for follow-up at this December meeting. They refused to attend. Despite giving ample notice, their presence, I'm just reading. Given ample notice, their presence was requested and despite this participation being a requirement of their contract with the township. Additionally, where can we find the sheriff's report for November?
So if I could just quickly make a comment, the sheriff's report is a part of the consent agenda. So if someone asks for information to be forwarded to talk about, then they'll do so. And that has to be done by.
That was not provided to us in advance, so we didn't get it until this evening.
Oh,
So I
you're
think
right,
that's
you're right,
probably
you're
why
right, you're right.
That question came up.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah, which is not typical of the case. But
All right, does anybody else have a petition at this point? Yes. Ms. Mohammed.
Just a couple of follow-up questions. You guys did mention that the former treasurer still had a laptop. I'm wondering why. And is there township information on that laptop? And does the former treasurer still have access to township information?
And answer the last one, no. We never had laptops until the pandemic, when we had to have Zoom meetings.
But you
We
still
have
have
laptops.
Okay.
We've always had, I have my own laptop, but no, there were laptops
Before?
if they desired to get one. No, not to the board, elected officials. I'm sorry, Rhonda.
yeah, the only thing, I'm assuming laptop wise, you have access to is your, Outlook.
Yes.
Which is,
Which I only use mine for Zoom, because my computer doesn't work,
Right.
doesn't have, that function to speak and sing. Okay, any other pleas or petitions?
I had a question.
Sure.
Real briefly, I know that we had received a, letter of resignation from our controller. And I just wanted to know what the status was with regards to, next steps on that, because no one else has said anything else.
Well, he sent an email.
Right, he never, the next day, I mean, he never did submit the
It
letter
was submitted.
to us, yeah, but he rescinded it.
He
Yeah.
sent it out.
Okay.
Yes, is it Sarah?
It is. So I was hoping to ask, if possible, it'd be great to get somehow get better communication about the future of the Rock property. So as things are progressing, it seems like it's really complex. I'm glad to hear that we're doing what we're doing tonight. But I do still have a concern around staying informed, and especially for those of us who have property lines that share with the Rock property. So if we can put something together, that's great. Thank you. No, I'm 4 houses down from you again. Yeah, I'm on Hickman.
You know,
I've got a teensy little strip
okay.
well, no, my new property does. So yeah, the new one that I just bought, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna have a block party, by the way.
Good evening, board. Kelly Gould, and I just have a plea for the meeting with the speed hump and that proceedings that the time and date is specified. I heard you make a mention that it might be before the board, come 15 minutes or 5 minutes. I just want it to be clear so that the people that it's affecting will be present. And
Was that they're coming on point at 7 here. I said to the board members, if they wanted to meet early, board members only with them, get some things straight. Otherwise, it will be through a public presentation information. We'll allow questions.
But I think trustee Wakey, prior to that, requested a meeting with the board before they come to a public. That's
But if all of the board members are present, wouldn't that be an open meeting?
Well, if it's only.
That's a good point. Right.
I would suggest that it be.
I'm not going to.
Why?
Right.
I just feel for transparency.
Yeah,
Let
you're
them
right.
come on January 20th and say what they have to say to the community. I'll be here for that. I don't care to meet with them in advance.
and then my only other plea was about the consideration of the selling of the, that it is transparent that we're able to review and see what is going to be brought to us before a draft or anything else is had. Thank you.
Any other pleas or petitions? Irma, I know you're dying, but you.
Well, it's a simple question. This has to do with, we were talking about, communication. I know we get those emails, the updates, and I was thinking about that might be a way for people to find out about a public meeting. And I don't know how many people get that email. I know I get from you, and I also get those emails from, Laura.
Those folks that get that update are those that on the website said, click and said that they would like to do that. Uh-huh.
Because
That's how they get it.
It's only because I was sitting here thinking about how does a word get out about something. Everybody doesn't go online and look at the agenda. So we just gotta kind of find a better way to do that, even if it's maybe a newsletter that comes out every 3 months instead of twice a year.
Would be able to use the newsletter.
No.
Any other thing now?
Happy holidays.
Have a nice holiday.
Bill and,
Sir,
What is your name?
Dana, D-A-N-A. Green, what do you?
okay, you live in Oak Brook?
Yeah.
Which streets?
Stafford.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Owen.
Take care.